Here to react to all of this, Todd Blanche, U.S. Deputy Attorney General. It's good to see you, sir, tonight. We're going to get to those agitators in a moment, but I want to start with the subpoenas, okay, with this grand jury investigation. You have Mayor Jacob Frey. He says the government is trying to intimidate local leaders. Obviously, others are going to follow suit. So is that what this is all about?
Well, of course not. Look, we said for the past 2 weeks that the federal government and this administration would not tolerate local officials doing what they were doing and have been doing, impeding federal officers and doing everything they could to encourage rioters to do what they had been doing, which is assaulting and getting in the way of federal officials. We said that we were investigating. I've seen the reports today, Laura. You know, I'm not going to comment on exactly what we're doing in this investigation, but this is exactly what we do when we investigate. We send grand jury subpoenas. We talk to witnesses to understand what's happening, and that's what you see happening right now.
Well, there are a number of statutes that could be involved here. 18 U.S.C. 241, conspiracy against rights, conspiracy to move against and interfere with the rights of individuals to move about freely. Obviously, the FACE Act, which involves interfering or impeding with one's rights to go into houses of worship, the Ku Klux Klan Act, all of these. This is serious business. And when Americans feel like they can't enter a house of worship without worrying now that some freak is going to be screaming in their face, or worse now, given the physical threats and the online threats that we're seeing from all over the country from these radicals, Americans are increasingly worried, sir.
That's right, and they should be worried, and they should be even more worried. Not only is it happening, but it's being encouraged by local officials. It's not being stopped. You didn't see the governor or the mayor saying, reacting in horror at what happened in that church. You didn't see them saying, we will make sure law enforcement is there to protect worshipers who are just trying to go to church on Sunday, like millions of Americans do. That's not what you saw. You saw a feigned claim by them that they wanted peaceful protests. And that should worry every single American, but that is why the Department of Justice, while President Trump is coming out hard against this conduct, Attorney General Bondi is on site today in Minnesota. I was there on Friday. You have law enforcement, DHS agents surging there. We have federal prosecutors surging there because we will not tolerate that conduct, especially from local officials.
William Kelly is notorious in the radical agitator set. He was one of the seemingly ringleaders to go into that church. He had a message today for the DOJ. Watch.
They're calling me a professional agitator now? Well, yes, I am. I am an agitator because people need to be agitated. They're going to come at me with charges, and I'm not scared of that. There's no base for these charges. I did not block them from, their service. People were still praying the entire time. The music was still playing the entire time. So, Pam Bondi, you want to come and arrest me? You want to come and give me charges? So be it.
Your reaction to that?
I mean, it's almost as if the whole incident wasn't recorded on video with the way that he just described what happened. What I will say, my reaction is disgust. My reaction is frustration at local leadership. But guess what? The Attorney General Bondi is on site. And so is a lot of law enforcement and a lot of prosecutors. And so it's really fun for somebody to yell and scream like you just heard. It's a different answer, and I expect a different response when law enforcement actually investigates, which is what's happening.
Also, the angle has been told that some journalists have reported being tracked by these anti-ICE insurrectionists. And the accusation is that the cars are being listed as belonging to ICE agents, and apparently one was approached in some type of restaurant, tracked down there. So they're using increasingly sophisticated ways of hounding anyone who doesn't agree with their agenda. And you see a lot of the similar patterns as we saw during the BLM movement, where they're going up to people saying, you must say F ICE, and if you don't, the threat is there that they're going to come at you. So journalists, worshipers, what else? What next if this doesn't stop?
No, it's something that President Trump is focused on, Attorney General Bondi's focused on, Director Patel, all law enforcement, Secretary Noem. And what you just said, Laura, is exactly right. They are not limiting themselves to going after federal officers. They're not limiting themselves to going after ICE officers. They're going after anybody and everybody that doesn't agree with their rhetoric. And it's peaceful protests, Laura. Go for it. Nobody will ever stop somebody from peacefully protesting. Chasing down ICE officers, kicking their cars, throwing rocks at them, going after journalists, chasing them down, harassing them, that is not a peaceful protest. And if the mainstream media doesn't start calling it what it is, we have a lot of work to do to fix this nation. I will say one thing, Laura, very quickly. We do not see this happening all over the country. Americans can be happy and pleased and satisfied that in a lot of places, local leadership is supporting ICE. Local communities know that what's happening is we are making your streets safer again. But what we are seeing in places like Minnesota is a pocket of outright left-wing agitators and, frankly, rioters that are causing incredible disruption.
Yeah, I have friends in northern Minnesota say, well, we've seen ICE here and they're cheered. Actually cheered when they come in and take someone out. So it's a very narrow slice of humanity, but they're doing a lot of damage. Sir, thank you very much. It's great to see you as always.
Thank you, Laura.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.